Hello and welcome back to Master Game Design, Unreal Engine 5, Stylized Environment and Third-Person Blueprint course. In the last lesson we finished with our pickup pickup blueprint system, and in this lesson we're gonna start our item detection system. So let's begin by creating a way of communicating between our character and our items. What we're gonna need is a interface, a blueprint interface. So I'm gonna right click, go to blueprints and select interface, this blueprint interface. So I'm gonna name this BI item comps, and I'm gonna open it. So it already makes it to rename the new function. Let's name this function interact action. We're gonna need a few more functions. We're gonna need one that says focused target, and one that says hide widget, and for now that's it. Let's compile and save, and let's go to our character. Now, an easy way to detect items would be to have a sphere around character. So I'm going to go to viewport and add collision, a sphere collision around the character. We're going to let it overlap all dynamic in collisions, and for sphere radius I'm going to set it to 200. Compile and save. So let's begin with our character. Let's begin with what collides with the sphere. Now we're gonna use tags to do our actions, and it's not the most optimal way. Like it's better to have your own collision channels, because having a sphere that collides with everything in the world, even just the dynamic stuff, is not the most optimal way. But for this example it will do. So we're gonna need the begin overlap and the end overlap events, and from the other actor I'm gonna ask if has tag, and the tag will be interactable. Now with tags you need to be certain that the spelling is exactly the same, and I'm not sure, but I think they are case sensitive, and we're gonna need the same for the end overlap. So from the actor I'm just gonna do a little trick to make an array. Gonna make array, and I'm gonna promote this to a variable, and I'm gonna call this array in range items, in range items array. So just wanted to create the variable, we don't need all this, so I'm gonna drag and drop the variable here with, I've been doing this a lot. If you press Control and drag and drop, you will get a getter. If you press Alt and drag and drop, you will get a setter. Anyway, so I got the variable, and I'm gonna add the actor we just collided with. If it has the tag interactable. If it doesn't have the tag interactable, I'm gonna send a message which says hide widget, and then I'm gonna remove index. Now, how do I know the index? I can't remove item, because if I remove item, let's say I connect the actor from here directly to remove item, it will not remove the index. So the index of the array would still be here, but with null result. But we don't want that. We want to remove the whole index. So to find the index, I'm gonna find item, and I'm gonna check with the actor that ended, triggered, and overlap. And from that, I'm gonna find it and connect it to remove index, and it's gonna remove the index. So this is it for the collisions. Let's name this collision with items. It's good to have comments, because when there's a lot of this, you should know quickly which is which. Anyway, now we're gonna need a way to find the nearest item. So for this, I'm gonna make a function, and I'm gonna name it find target items. Maybe not the best name. Anyway, it will do. So first of all, I need a branch. I wanna ask if this array's length is great. It's actually 0, not greater. Because if it's 0, we want to do nothing. Actually, we might want to do something. Anyway, first of all, I'm gonna for loop all of our items. And I need this might not work, but I'm gonna get the actor location, and I'm gonna get my own also location, the character's actor location, and I'm gonna distance vector to find the distance between these two items. Now I'm gonna make a new array. Again, I'm making this just to make the variable. I'm gonna promote variable and delete this. Call this array item distance. As you notice, this array is of a float variable, since it's calculating the length between these two vectors, the distance between these two vectors. And I'm gonna add the value to this array. To be honest, this shouldn't be a variable here, because if it's a variable in the blueprint, then this needs to be cleared every time the for loop runs, the function basically. So this would be better to be a local variable, so I'm going to promote it to local variable. This means that whenever this function runs, this would be brand new, it would be clear. And name it distance between actors. And then I need an actor object reference as a variable, so I'm going to promote this. I'm going to call it target. And we actually need this here also. When it's 0 items in length, then target is nothing. So if we have items though, we don't want target to be nothing, and we are calculating the distances. So let's get these distances and find the minimum value. There is a node for this. Makes our life easier. It's min float of array. Since the array is of floats, we can find the minimum. So we can find the value and we can find the index. We actually just want the index, and we are gonna copy paste our in range items array and get this index that we found that it has the minimum value. And I'm gonna set the target also to that. So we get our list of items, we are checking, is there any? If there isn't, then we have no targets. If we have items, find the distance between the item and ourselves and get the minimum value, find the item and set it as target. Now what we want the target to do first of all is show our widget. So how did we call? Focus target message. So we're gonna send that message that this is the item and it has we're sending the message focus target through our blueprint interface. So compiled and saved. Let's go back to our item. First of all, let's put the tag in. We want the tag to be the interactable, and we have that word on the character. Here, copy paste. I'm copying paste, so there is no space spelling mistakes. So first of all, our item has the tag from class defaults. I wrote tag up here, and it has the tag interactable, so it can be detected. Well, it will be detected, but it will do also something, since this is our first rule. If you detect an item, check if it has the tag. So the next thing we want to do is that set this widget, its visibility, to false, because we want it to be visible only when it's in range. Well, not in range, but on interact, on the bubble that we have set for interact. We need for this the events we created on the interface. So let's add this interface to the widget. Gonna find it on class defaults and go type it, and it's faster to find. Actually, not class defaults, I'm sorry, class settings. This is why I couldn't find it. On class settings, there is a category called interfaces, and we're gonna add BI item comps. So right now it's expecting it has these functions that we created. So I'm gonna right click and call event focused target and event hide widget. On event focused target, I'm gonna set visibility to true on the widget, and on hide event, I'm gonna set the visibility to false. Also, the collision of the widget should be no collision. Character cannot step, and it doesn't generate overlap events. Makes it a little bit more optimal, and the widget doesn't have collision. So if I go play, go near the item, it doesn't show anything. Let's debug this. Oh, because target is not running. We created the find target items, but we haven't connected it. So when this will happen on tick event. Because as we are moving through the world, every frame we need to be checking if we have found an item. So I'm gonna press play, and if I go near the item, there is the widget. If I go away, it disappears. And as I'm moving the item, it moves along. Now, what happens if we have two items? Let's duplicate this. And I'm going here, and they're both the item. So what we need to do here is actually hide the other widget, because we can see both. Since we are telling one widget on find targets to focus, the other one expects, well, the other one just hides when we are ending overlap, but we want to hide it also when we're focusing something else. So after this, we're gonna need to do a for loop of all the items, and if this is equal to our target, we don't want to do anything. But if it's not, we want to hide widget. Let's connect this to hide widget also. So what our function does is it checks if the length of range items is 0. If it's 0, we are setting target to none. If it's not 0, we are storing the distances between our actor and our item, and we are getting the minimum value and setting that as a target. After we are setting to the target to focus that this is the item focused, and we are sending a message hide widget on all the other items. If we compile and save, I'm gonna press play, and now it works fine. So this is it for this one. I'm gonna see you on the next one. Goodbye.